Hello, it's Adam Bertram from ditchthewatercooler.com. And today I wanted to show you a little bit about my productivity system that I have for task and project management. I use a tool called Kanban Flow. You'll see it's kanbanflow.com is the URL. Now, this is a tool, if you're familiar with the Kanban approach to task and project management through traditionally through the software development space, that it's a concept where you have columns and you have cards in these columns that track the progress of in the software development space from a feature or a bug or something, all the way from coding to Q&A to process to and finally done. The end task here is to get all the tasks and to dos that you have to get done to the done column. I've kind of turned this on its head a little bit and got this inspiration from simpleprogrammer.com through John Sonmez. He uses a similar productivity system. So this is how I do it. So every day when I come into my office, I look down through the column that I have for the particular day. And you can see there I have 8 different columns or so. I have a waiting column, a queue, Monday through Friday, the weekend, since I unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't mind working on the weekend. Then I finally have it done. So what these represent, these are the days of the week, and these represent the tasks that I plan to do during that particular day. So what I do here is when I come in, I check. Say for example, it's Monday. Okay, well Monday. I'm recording this on a Thursday, and I did all my tasks on Monday, so I have nothing here. However, I'll go down through here and I'll check, Wednesday. I'm sorry, today is Wednesday. So you'll see that I have some exercise to do, and I have a webinar thing here that I have to work on. You'll see that Kanban Flow has these concept of labels and time estimates here. So for example, here in the exercise one, I have a time estimate of 30 minutes. You see that I've done 0 of the 30 minutes. I have to do that later. In this webinar here, you'll see that I've done 10 minutes of work versus the 30 minutes of time that I'm estimating that it's going to take. And I can go in here and I can see that I also put these labels. So the client is 1105 Media. It's a webinar, and there's also another client here through Dell. So those are the labels, the ways that I can organize these sort of things. So, and you can do that a number of different ways. There's a lot of things in here. You see there's due dates, and I'm not going to go over. I might go over that a little bit detail in a future video. But in any case, for now. Oh, also see this $733 here. I build my goals early on in the years for the next year or even the next 5 years of how much money I want to generate. I know this may be different for a full-time position where you may be on salary and don't have the luxury of defining how much money you want to make for the day. But as a freelancer, as a self-employed with a business, I try to set a rough goal of how much money that I want to make during that particular day. And, it looks like today, Wednesday, I would like to make $733. And you see about every day, I roughly try to bring in $733 in whatever different way. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, but it gives you kind of a goal to stick to how much money you want to make for the day. So let's say that I'm going in here, it's Wednesday, and I open this up, and I want to start this task. Okay, great. Well, instead of just opening this up, leaving it open, and just going about the task, you have to be more diligent about this. I have to be more disciplined, because knowing me, I'll go to Twitter or go to Facebook or whatever halfway in this, and then I'll forget where I am, and it's all over with. Kanban Flow has this concept of a Pomodoro timer here. And if you're not familiar with the Pomodoro Technique, it's basically just you work for 25 minutes, get a 5-minute break, work for 25 minutes, get a 5-minute break, and eventually get a 15-minute break. So it's a way to keep yourself disciplined and to keep yourself on track for these sort of things. And I'll go into a little bit of detail in maybe another video or another blog post. But for now, I just want to give you a basic overview here. So let's say I want to start on this webinar. All right, great. So what I'll do is I'll hit the select button here, and then select this webinar, and you see that it changes to the task name, and it says I told the task name I've spent 10 minutes and 26 seconds on this task. Okay, I'm going to say start. And then the time starts going down. And from now I would go about doing whatever tasks that I want. And I use subtasks on these things. And then I just go here, okay, what's the next subtask? Okay, great. Then I go and do it, and I keep doing it until I'm done. All right, so let's say that I'm done. Okay. And the Pomodoro Technique, instead of saying stop and then starting on another one, the Pomodoro Technique is all about continuous productivity. So you don't want to skip your work rhythm. So let's say that, okay, I'm done. Once I'm done, I just go over here to change, and let's say that I automatically go to exercise. See, my productivity timer still is running, but now I should be doing exercise. So maybe I'm going on the treadmill, for example, something like that. All right, so let's say that I'm not going to wait here for 24 minutes, but let's say that it counts down. Whenever it's done counting down, it'll ding, it'll give me a little timer and say you need a break, and then it'll go for 5 minutes, and then it'll start again and repeat. All right, so let's just say that this task is done. Now you'll see that this is at 11 minutes. Kanban Flow has a lot of different reports and things that I may show you a little bit later on what that does, but it allows me to kind of review of how productive I actually am. And it also has this concept of boards here. You see that this one is tasks. I have one just for my general week, and I have ones for bigger projects and that sort of thing. So let me just briefly show you a report that I think is very cool that I use constantly. I use these Pomodoro Statistics. And what I do here is I see that looks like on January 13th, I've just started recently doing this again, that I only had one Pomodoro, and a Pomodoro is a 25-minute increment of productivity that you have. So you see here on January 16th, I have 3. Looks like on January 17th there, I accomplished 14 Pomodoros, and since 14 Pomodoros is 25 minutes, you can kind of do 14 times 25, 350 minutes. So it looks like I was productive for around 5.8 hours. So I did 5.8 hours of real work on January 17th. And you can kind of track these different things in Kanban Flow, and it really gives you a great way to track all of your tasks and productivity things. And before I forget, let's say that the task is going into waiting status. You're waiting on something, you're waiting on someone else. I will just bring this out and put it into this waiting column here. And this waiting column is a column that kind of sticks off to the side that I don't pay attention to it, because if I don't want to look at those, if I don't have a next action on any of that stuff, I don't even want to look at it at all. So that's all over there. I'll go through it once in a while as a review and to see if there's anything that's not waiting anymore, but for now I'll keep it all here. And then finally I have a queue, and this queue is all my backlog of work that I have to do. So obviously I can't get Monday through Friday's work. That's not all the work I have to do. So I have 36 different projects or tasks that I have to do in my backlog that are queued. And again, I don't want to look at those because I'll just get overwhelmed and feel like I'm going crazy. But on the weekends, I go into this queue and then I just drag out whatever I want for each of the days, and it makes things significantly easier from what I can do. So whenever I'm done, I will get this done category here and just drag and drop to the done, and then collapse it, and then it's gone. So that's a general overview of how I work and how I plan my day. Like I said, I may go into some more detail in a future blog posts or a couple more videos on the different concepts such as the Pomodoro Technique, or maybe some of the reports or filtering, and get a little bit more granular in that. But I just wanted to give you an overview of how I stay productive and how I can get so much done in so little time between all the other crazy stuff going on in my life.